Before you skip to number 1, I highly recommend you watch this entire video because ranking these 3 guns was very difficult and it was an extremely tight race. And depending on your playstyle and or the game modes you play will depend which gun is best for you. In this video, we're going to be covering the top 3 SMGs in Warzone right now. I'll be showing in-game examples of how they perform and showing you my recommended loadouts for them. Now, I'm going to be focusing these more as builds you would pair with an AR or LMG. Not so much as a sniper support. Sniper support SMGs are a bit different as range is a bit more of a priority and not necessarily the close range time to kill and mobility. Although on Rebirth Island, you'll often find me running these same builds with a Kar 98 or Swiss. If you find this video helpful, please be sure to leave a like and comment and consider subscribing for more videos just like this one. So starting with number 3, we have the Owen Gun. Now I know a lot of you have probably used the Owen before and you probably disliked how the magazine blocks the right side of the screen, but I've got a trick to fix that. If you equip the M38 Slate 2.5x custom optic, you can toggle to the red dot portion, the smaller sight on top, and that will actually lower the gun down and essentially get the magazine out of your way. Now the Owen Gun has a very solid time to kill at close range, but in a close range battle with the number 2 and number 1 SMG, it will lose just barely in terms of pure TTK. The benefits though of the Owen are its 72 round mag and excellent range for an SMG. If you were to use one of these as a sniper support, I would recommend the Owen because it seems the most consistent at range. Plus with the large magazine that it has, you don't need to rely on switching to an AR to finish a fight. And the mobility and ADS or aim down sight speed are very excellent on this build. Now there are several ways to build these SMGs, but I'm going to show you my recommended builds and how I've been running them. For the Owen Gun with the muzzle, there's 2 options I would say. The Mercury silencer is what I've used most so that it acts as a silencer, also helps our recoil control. Or you can use the recoil booster, which will increase the fire rate, giving you a little bit faster time to kill. Now, the downside, if you use the recoil booster though, is you're going to show up on the minimap. So what you can do though, is you can use for the ammunition, you can use these subsonic rounds, which causes a no minimap ping. Now this will essentially act as a silencer, so it's a very good trade-off. But I really love using the incendiary rounds. The incendiary rounds, especially paired with Combat Scout, it extends the damage and also it delays enemies from putting on plates. And if you're running Combat Scout, it lengthens that time that they're pinged from Combat Scout. Now for the barrel, you also have 2 options. Mostly I've been running the shrouded barrel, which extends the range, but the downside is it hurts your headshot damage. So I've also ran at times the Hawkinson precision barrel, which increases your headshot damage and makes it a lot more accurate. The downside to this is actually reduces your body damage. So if you are very accurate, if you're comfortable at hitting headshots at close range, go with the Hawkinson. But overall, I think the Shrouded is the better choice because let's be honest, unless you're aimbotting, you're not gonna be able to consistently hit headshots, and this one actually helps our limb damage. Now the rest of the build is gonna be very similar for the other SMGs. I usually go hand stop for a little bit of recoil control and then fabric grip because the fabric grip helps with aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. You can always switch the hand stop for something else if you want. For the magazine, I definitely recommend the 7.62 70 round drum. It's going to be the faster shooting version compared to the 9mm. Overall, the faster shooting one just feels a lot better, feels much better at close range. Now I am, like we said, talking about the M38 Slate 2.5 custom. That's the one that's going to be able to get that magazine out of our way. The remove stock is my recommended one. It really helps them with the mobility, but if you want to use it as a sniper support, you could switch that for something else so it doesn't hurt your recoil control. Fleet is a really nice perk. What Fleet does is it also acts like amped. It allows you to switch your weapon from the Owen to your next gun a lot quicker, but not vice versa. Also helps with your movement speed. And then I normally go with quick for my perk 2 on all the SMGs, or of course you could run fully loaded so that if you're playing Rebirth and you spawn back and get your loadout, you don't have to worry about ammo. Coming in at number 2 is the MP40. Now the MP40 did receive a small nerf somewhat recently, but even after this, it is still a top tier SMG. In close range 1v1 fights, I'd argue that the MP40 is the best of these 3 SMGs. The biggest downside to the MP40 though is its magazine size. In order to achieve its fast time to kill, you need to use the 45 round mag. And with the MP40 having a relatively fast fire rate, it can be difficult taking on multiple enemies at once. So if you play trio or quad game modes, you may run into trouble because of this low ammo. The MP40's got very little recoil and as well awesome mobility and a very snappy ADS. Now for the loadout of the MP40, I do run it pretty similar to how I had the Owen set up. One nice thing about the MP40 though is you can run the recoil booster and you can run the perk unmarked. Unmarked essentially acts as a silencer and will keep you off the minimap. Like I said previously, the 7.62 45 round mag is the best mag for the best time to kill of the MP40. Again, I prefer incendiary rounds, although if you want better range, you can go lengthened. If hollow point is also another good option, but I think incendiary is still the better choice between incendiary and hollow point. Again, you'll see I'm running the hand stop for a little bit of recoil control and the fabric grip for a little bit snappier ADS. I go with the Krasnik folding stock, not the remove stock. The remove stock helps with movement speed, but so does the folding, and the folding helps with sprint to fire speed, which in my opinion is one of the most important stats for an SMG. And then the Krasnik 3 17mm barrel is going to be the one that makes it a lot more accurate and controllable. The negatives really aren't too bad. I really don't think any of these other barrels are worth using over this one. And coming in at number 1, we have the new Welgun SMG. Now, I know many of you watching may not even have this unlocked yet, and I'm here to tell you, yes, it's worth your time to unlock it. It's been out for several weeks and they haven't nerfed it yet, so fingers crossed they won't be messing with it anytime soon. Now to unlock this, you need SMG kills while aim down sights. I believe it's 10 kills in a match in 15 separate matches, and you cannot back out of the match once you get the number of kills. Obviously this is easiest on Vanguard in a quick match, something like free-for-all or team deathmatch. But if you don't own Vanguard, my friend purchased it from the store, purchased the blueprint from the store, was able to level it up and customize the attachments that way. Now, if this doesn't work for you for some reason though, please do not get mad at me, but it did work for him by buying it. Now the Welgun is essentially the MP40, but with more ammo. The only true downside to the Welgun is that the sight is much closer to your character's face or closer to your screen. And this makes it feel slightly strange sometimes. I think once you get used to it, it's really not a big deal though. Now the Welgun has excellent time to kill like the MP40, but we can use the 64 round mag and still have a very fast time to kill. So you'll be able to take on multiple enemies much easier compared to the MP40. I still think the Owen Gun is a little bit better at range compared to the Welgun though. So if you wanted to use it as a sniper support, Owen might still be your better choice slightly. But personally, I've been using the Welgun a lot on Rebirth Island as my sniper support with a car or Swiss, and I'm really loving it. Now, one of the biggest things though that separates the Welgun from the others is the perk Gung Ho. I really believe this is one of the most underrated perks in Warzone, especially for SMGs. What Gung Ho does allows you to fire while sprinting, or essentially it makes you have 0 sprint to fire time. So what you can do is if an enemy kind of surprises you up close, you can start to shoot while you're still sprinting, and then you can start to aim down sight while you're shooting. This will allow you to have a few extra split seconds to get some shots on your opponent, and you will win way more close range fights because of this perk. Now, I've done a lot of different setups to Welgun trying to experiment with this, and this is what I've settled on. Again, I'm using the recoil booster because it does give you that faster time to kill, and I like to go with the subsonic ammunition to stay off the minimap, because there is the unmarked perk like on the MP40, but the Gung Ho perk is just way too good to not use in my opinion. I've also used this with the Mercury silencer, and it's very good that way. Also helps with our recoil control some, but I think the recoil booster really helps you win a lot more close range fights with that faster fire rate. Now, if you don't care about being on the minimap, you could, totally go with incendiary or hollow point, because both of those are excellent things to use on SMGs. In my opinion, the short barrel is definitely the way to go. The shrouded barrel is another good option. It's the accurate version. It makes it have, just a lot more easier to use at range, but I still feel like the recoil of the short isn't bad at all. And I think the time to kill is a lot better on the short as well. Now, again, I'm running this pretty similar to how I run the other two. I do run the hand stop for a little bit of recoil control. I've actually liked using the polymer grip, which is one that helps with recoil during sustained fire. I've used the fabric grip also, and it's great, but like I said, I've been using this as a sniper support on Rebirth, and the polymer has been that perfect amount. This gun is still super snappy and has super fast ADS and mobility, so I felt like it was okay. And again, the fabric grip helps with sprint to fire time, but we don't need to worry about that because of Gung Ho. Because again, Gung Ho makes our sprint to fire time 0 essentially. Now again, we can use the 64 round mag and still have that great time to kill, which I think is one of the biggest perks of this gun over the MP40. The Gawain skeletal helps with our movement speed. It does help with sprint to fire, but it's not a big deal. We could use the remove stock, but that hurts our recoil control more. So I really just like the feel of the skeletal over the removed, in my opinion. Now, I didn't mention this on the MP40, but my preferred optic is the slate for the Welgun and the MP40. But remember, the Owen gun, we're going to use that custom sight so we can get the mag out of the way. So if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please consider leaving a like and also subscribing for more content like this. Also, maybe come check out a live stream here on YouTube so that you can see all this gameplay happen live and ask me any question that you'd like as well. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.